A kiss from the cold, a whisper from the breeze, the scent of pine trees, dancing with the seas, a quest for the unknown, a journey for the soul, across Nordic landscapes to a distant, unmarked goal. Through icy winds and summer's warmth, through joy and through sorrow the quest goes on. For it's not the destination but the journey that unfolds, the story of our heart in the land where the north holds.
Hello.
Last night as I pulled up to my intended wild camping spot, I was greeted by two fellow riders from France. Like me, they were on their own adventure, exploring the beauty of Norway on two wheels. They shared with me water and tea and we sat down talking of our lives back home, sharing our journey so far. Our camp was set up right by the water, offering a stunning view of the fjord. The next morning, my French companions packed up and rode off, leaving me alone with my thoughts and a cup of freshly brewed coffee. As I sipped on the warm drink, I took in the view sitting beside the water for about an hour. Yesterday, although a beautiful ride, it had not afforded me the luxury time to take it all in. This was my first moment to really see Norway, and I wanted to savour it. The tranquil waters, the towering cliffs, and the peaceful silence all added to the serene ambience. After finishing my coffee, I washed my cup up in the river, the cool running water running over my hands as the sun began to warm up the day. It was then that I noticed that the Norwegian heather and bluebells dotted around the landscape. I wondered if in another 2 years I would reflect back to this particular moment just as I am doing now.
Oh, my gloves are soaked through. I'm hoping they'll be dry by lunchtime. Oh, well, I'm gonna have some very wrinkly old baby hands.
In the rugged heart of Norway, where the mountains kiss the sky and the fjords carve their way through the terrain, lies an extraordinary marvel of nature, Preikestolen, also known as Pulpit Rock. Above the serene waters of Latefossen Fjord, the steep cliff is a national treasure of Norway. The journey up to the top of the rock is a hiking endeavour that takes around 4 to 5 hours to complete. A journey I would not be embarking on this time. Or so I had hoped. You see, I recently added a little bit of spice to my drone, which would allow me to operate it from within my helmet using voice commands instead of a handheld remote. This would allow me to capture the stunning drone shots that I wanted without the need of a third person helping me. Unfortunately, this was my first attempt, and whilst the drone was able to stay away from people, vehicles and roads, it wasn't smart enough to avoid driving itself into the cliff face. This was the sunniest day that I had experienced in Norway, and also throughout the entire trip. Ironically, I got to spend a great chunk of it venturing along the country's underground road network. No one builds underground roads quite like the Norwegians, and I'm confident that if there is a rock, they will somehow chisel through it. Riding through Norway's underground roads is a bit like being swallowed by a gigantic granite whale. First off, the smell. It's a unique blend of the smell of dirt with a dash of a metallic tang, like someone had left an old pound coin collection in a sandpit. And the air, it's so thick that you could slice it with a knife and serve it on toast. Breathing here feels like trying to suck a golf ball through a garden hose. The dim lighting makes everything look like a poorly developed photograph, and the echoes of engines sound like a rock concert, where all the musicians are playing different songs. It's a bit chaotic, and it's a bit claustrophobic, but mostly it's just not very warm. Despite the dust cocktail and the symphony of random noises, there's a certain charming stubbornness that comes with it. The idea that someone once stood looking upon a cliff face and decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a subterranean roller coaster rather than simply riding over the tops of the hills. Between the insanity of Norway's underground tunnels, you're greeted by a second road network consisting of ferries. The ferry service feels somewhat daunting as a visitor to the country. You inherently associate ferries with high prices and lengthy booking processes. However, jumping aboard Norwegian ferries is like stepping into a massive floating bus service, only this one's got a scenic route nailed down. The ferries themselves have the elegance of a walrus on roller skates. They're bulky, a bit clumsy, but somehow they glide across the water with a surprising grace. It's as if they're saying, yeah, I know I look like I'm a refrigerator with a motor, but watch me dance. And let's not forget the seagulls. They're the unofficial welcoming committee, squawking and flapping around like they own the place. Between you and me, I think they're there just for the free food. Of course, no pit stop is ever complete without the dance of desperately trying to get all of your layers off in order to go to the toilet. Once you have braved the maritime ballet, you are greeted by Norway's scenic twisty roads. These are less road and more roller coaster designed by a thrill-seeking squirrel. And so I spent the vast majority of the afternoon cruising along and enjoying the views, enjoying the good weather, until eventually I managed to find myself upon a very well-known tourist destination.
It's not raining, it's just the waterfall. Oh gosh, I am tired. I've been riding for a few hours today and I've got about an hour and a half left to go. Just thought I'd take a little break. I didn't even know this place existed, I just happened to ride by. Oh. But the water's so nice. I can't wait to set up my tent there and just chill for the evening. Look at that!
The best part about riding along Norwegian roads is that you never quite know what you'll discover. The most beautiful, iconic scenes frequently appear from nowhere. Finding Latefossen is like playing hide and seek with Mother Nature. You're driving along Norway's scenic roads when suddenly you turn a corner and there it is, Latefossen and all of its gushing water and rainbow mist, putting on a show that would make any Vegas fountain blush with envy. And let's not forget the old stone bridge that aches across the falls. It looks like it's been plucked straight out of a fairy tale. You'd half expect to see trolls lounging around, grumbling about other trolls. And so whether you're a fan of geological wonders, fairy tales, or just really good Instagrammable backdrops, Latefossen is a must-see on any Norwegian adventure. Just remember to pack a raincoat. Wild camping is an experience like no other. It's just you, the wilderness, and the stars above. But on this particular day, time seemed to have a mind of its own. One moment I was packing up my gear and before I knew it, the sun was already tipping its hat goodbye, leaving me with the daunting task of finding a wild camping spot in the dwindling light. The phrase time escapes never felt more real. It was as if the hours had turned into minutes and the minutes were sprinting away from me. I found myself at a race against the setting sun, with the stakes being a comfortable place to lay my head for the evening.